Let's face it, some games just take more priority over others. A classic example from this is a difference between a Redfall and a difference between, say, a Starfield, or even studios, right? Like Bethesda Studios certainly own the upper echelon, creating games like, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, also creating games like Skyrim and, of course, Starfield, versus an Arcane, which, even though Arcane does good games, they aren't on the same level. I would say on the same level in terms of success, same level in the terms of, graphics and story, just not on the same level. This is the same thing that happens with Sony as well. Pixel Opus, who they recently just closed down, is not going to be on the same level as a Sony Santa Monica. Again, that's not to say that one is bad and one is good, because there's all types of different games out there, and no gamer is alike in exactly that way. But with this announcement, it's nice to see that Microsoft is stepping up to the plate, and this could be something exactly what they need, and I have a good feeling that this is going to be something that surprises a lot of people, and I hope that they get the chance to do that, because there is this negative perception around Xbox. There's this media bias around Xbox. It's a real shame, but I also have to say that I feel like what Microsoft is doing now could turn a lot of that around, and I really kind of wanted to get into it because this makes a lot of sense what Phil's saying right here. And, again, Microsoft has come a very long way, but let's just face the facts. Redfall was never going to be on the same level as a Starfield. It just was never going to happen, right? Recore was never going to be on the same level as Halo or Gears of War. It just was never going to happen, right? Like, I don't know how else to say it. I know it's sometimes that sucks, but Microsoft is pumping resources into Starfield, and it looks like some of the rumors were true about Redfall, where Microsoft perhaps didn't believe in it as much, or they thought internally that this was a 75, 80 rated game, and we're okay with that, Again, not all games are going to hit that 90 mark, but internally it looks like things didn't exactly turn out well either. But anyway, a lot of people are like, well, Redfall was garbage. I'm really worried about Starfield now. And, Microsoft did a lot to kind of assuage that type of hatred and negativity, because that negativity going into a review of that could be disastrous, in my opinion. You don't want people going into it thinking it's going to be trash because of something else, right? It's a completely different studio. But he did say that they did a better job assisting Starfield development than Redfall, and he said, I think we can engage easier and earlier with our different studios. Now, Xbox boss Phil Spencer offered some reassurance to fans that Starfield will hopefully launch in a better state than, of course, the Xbox console exclusive Redfall, claiming that the publisher did a better job in terms of assisting on development, which should come as big news and good news to everybody that is looking forward to the game. Because, again, a lot of people would probably think, well, didn't Microsoft offer Arcane any help? Apparently, they have the coalition sort of helping with some of the Unreal stuff now, but that probably should have been something that happened a long time ago. And one of the best things that I can say is it's always good to learn from your mistakes. So, discussing the development of Redfall on the podcast recently, Spencer explained how acquisition of a studio that is midway through development of a game, as it did with Bethesda Game Studios and Arcane Austin, working on Starfield and Redfall respectively, can be a challenge, and that Xbox needs to improve the process. He said, and I quote, "When we acquire studios, there are games that are in development, and then there's things that are either really early in development or not even conceived yet. I think we need to improve in engaging with games that are midway through production when they become part of Xbox. We did a good job early on in engaging Arcane Austin to really help them understand what it meant to be part of Xbox, part of our first party, and use some of our internal resources to help them move along the journey even faster." He said we didn't do a good job. We left them to work on the game alone. Spencer went on to say that getting in on these collaboration efforts earlier is the key to better success, but when Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty and ZeniMax president Jamie Letter sit down, I think we can engage earlier with our different studios. And I do think there's a difference when we come in and we have this creative is already set on a game, and that's not washing our hands. Every game we ship from our teams is an Xbox game, so we take full responsibility for it. Now, according to Phil, Xbox did a better job with Starfield because the game was earlier on in production when Bethesda joined Microsoft. Redfall was further along in development, and so assistance was more difficult. Nonetheless, Spencer says that we should have been there for Arcane studio director and the team earlier. I think it's on us. And then through the process, it's an Unreal game. We have a bunch of studios that have done some really great work on Unreal over the years, and I think we were too late to help in what they had certain issues, and we could have been very helpful. Arcane Austin's previous games were built in different engines. CryEngine was used for Prey, while the id-Tech-based Void engine was used for Dishonored 2, and its follow-up, Death of the Outsider. So very interesting sort of talk here. Because again, he's being very, I think this is as being transparent as you possibly can with this stuff. It's just one of those things. And again, as such, Redfall was the team's first major project in several years to use Unreal-based technology. Arcane's Redfall clearly launched and is a disappointment for a lot of people. I got this article from IGN, which I will, of course, link in the description below. IGN gave the game a 4 out of 10, which I think is kind of nonsense. This game is a 7 all day, in my opinion. I think there's some bugs and stuff and whatnot, but if you're going to give that Jedi game an 87 with all the performance and issues and stuff that has, you're going to definitely give Redfall a little bit better score than a 4, in my opinion. I think in a perfect world and a perfect setting for Xbox, obviously they sent engineers to help Bethesda to optimize the game on Xbox Series X, which I think is good. I also think not having the game on PlayStation 5 is a big bonus as well. They can focus on Xbox, get that out the door, and do a good job with that. That's what I think they're doing. I think the best lineup for them to release this year would be, in my opinion, Forza Motorsport, Starfield, and then Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 looks like it's going to be class all the way. That developer, Ninja Theory, is amazing. They've had ample time to work on the game. They've got more studio personnel than ever. They've got more resources than ever. So I think that's going to be possibly a 90+ rated game. I think Starfield has that opportunity to be 90+ rated. I think Forza Motorsport has the opportunity to be 90+ rated. If you go back to back to back with 90+ rated, guess what? Next time you drop a 70, people are still going to bitch about it and cry about it and say Xbox mismanages stuff and they don't know what they're doing. So honestly, I just, as a owner of an Xbox, I hope that they continue to offer great games and continue to do their thing, because I got to be honest, I'm happy with the games that they've been putting out. I don't hate Redfall. People probably expect me to, but I definitely don't. I think it's a great game, and I think Microsoft has come a very long way with the Xbox of now versus Xbox of 2017, 2016. So I think it's all for the better, and I love seeing them take the blame, but also say, hey, we've also worked on this stuff, so you don't have to worry about it as much. I do think that maybe Redfall bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and being later in the process probably didn't get the help that they needed. That's unfortunate, especially given, like I said, they have companies that can work on Unreal Engine. But I'm going to link this. What do you guys think? I think Starfield could be big trouble for Sony. Let me know what you think. If you watched the video, like it, rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.